How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about world-renowned author J.K. Rowling being attacked on Twitter and labeled as a TERF, which stands for Trans-Exclusionary Radical Feminist, due to her comments about transgenderism and also her defense of a woman over in UK who was fired from her job due to her comments on Twitter about transgender so-called women. Now, there's a whole lot to get through, a whole lot to quote-unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. So let's get through this article and see exactly what's going on with our own two eyes. And the article reads, the Harry Potter author hasn't personally tweeted since September, but returned to Twitter today to stand with Maya Forstater in a post that has disappointed many fans. The 54-year-old tweeted, "Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who have you, live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real. Hashtag I stand with Maya, hashtag this is not Israel." And you can see the tweet right there on the screen before you. What's wrong with what she said? A little bit about Ms. Rowling. She's not even a conservative, definitely not a Trump supporter. I would say pretty much hate Trump, if not strongly dislike him. So you ain't talking about somebody that's on my side as conservative. You're talking about a person that has just basic common sense, okay? It's like, all right, look, you want to identify as Big Bird. You want to identify as a cold bowl of soup on a hot summer day. You want to identify as the last slice of pizza in a college dorm room with 35 frat boys. Whatever you want to identify as, that's perfectly fine. However, let's not just dismiss something as basic as sex, as gender, boy, girl, male, female. Let's not dismiss that, okay? It's very simple. One thing you got to understand about UK is that they have the Gender Recognition Act that came into effect in 2004. And if I'm mistaken about what I'm going to say, you guys let me know in the comments below. But from what I've been able to pick up on, you can have a sex change and have your legal gender changed. So whatever's on your license, birth certificate, social security card, you can have that changed over in UK, which is crazy. Now, the latest reform that they want to have, quote unquote reform, is to have your legal gender change by just self-identifying, which is even crazier than the first one, which was just crazy by itself. It was almost like impossible to make it crazier, but here we are. But I digress. Let's get back into the article and see what's going on. And one woman who was a mother to a trans daughter replied, "My daughter, who is trans, is a big fan of yours." Stop right here. Should it be legal for underage people to get sex changes? I mean, if you are a parent that takes your child to get a sex change or to have them identify as something different, I'm talking to you, Charlize Theron, but I'll move on. If you do that, you need to get locked up, in my humble opinion. If you want to be an adult and change your identity to whatever you want, that's fine, as long as it's not a legal thing. As long as you're not just saying, yeah, I'm a woman and I can do whatever women do, you can identify as that, and that's fine. But do that as an adult, not as a child. But we'll move on. The mother continues, "It breaks my heart to see you post something indicating that discrimination against her is perfectly fine behavior for an employee. The world's most credible medical organizations affirm trans people. Please catch up." Well, I'm not really sure what kind of credible medical organization would affirm trans people. I mean, seriously, like, you are biologically male or female. Your chromosomes can't be changed through surgery. So I'm sorry to break the news, but you can identify as trans and that's okay. That's your business. But you're still a male or you're still a female. Whatever you were born as biologically, that's what you are. Simple as that. But we'll move on. Many followers and Harry Potter fans criticized the tweet and branded Rowling a quote unquote TERF for her defense of Forstater, who lost a test case after she didn't have her contract renewed at the Center for Global Development, CGD, an international think tank that campaigns against poverty and inequality, for tweeting, "Men cannot change into women." Now, that tweet is 1000% correct. This is an obvious basic fact here, okay? Now, let's continue because this right here is a great little snippet from Miss Forstater. In September 2018, a reply tweet from Forstater read, "What I'm so surprised at is that smart people I admire who are absolutely pro-science in other areas." And I think what she may have wanted to say right here is climate change, because that's the main thing I hear all the time. Oh, you can't be a climate change critic, you're anti-science. But when it comes to a biological male identifying as female and having that be fine, and there's no question about that, I mean, but you want to be pro-science, we'll move on. And champion human rights and women's rights are tying themselves in knots to avoid saying the truth that men cannot change into women, because that might hurt men's feelings. Now, I'm not quite sure if it'll hurt men's feelings, women's feelings, or whatever, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this is a biological fact. Men cannot transform into women. Why attack somebody for stating an obvious thing? It's not something that is meant to attack gay people or whatever. This is just a basic biological fact, and that's it. One person wrote, "Wow, J.K. Rowling gone full TERF," with another tweet reading, "J.K. Rowling is a full-blown TERF," and she's saying it with her chest, like Kevin Hart in that comedy special, which is interesting, but we'll move on. A reply to Rowling's original tweet read, "Good job on using your huge platform to further marginalize one of the most marginalized groups in society," while another person wrote, "How does one live their best life with peace and security if their coworker is not held accountable for hate speech?" So I guess the hate speech would be misgendering. Speaking about misgendering, there was a judge that ruled on this, because remember I said she got fired from her job. Now, I guess there was a case, a discrimination case or something that had been kicking around. The employment judge ruled against her, which is why she's still fired, and which is why J.K. Rowling came out and defended her today. There was a 26-page ruling, and then some of it was just really crazy. I'll read a blurb right quick. The claimant's position is that even if a trans woman has a gender recognition certificate, she cannot honestly describe herself as a woman. That belief is not worthy of respect in a democratic society. Remember, this is an employment judge, not a TED Talk, not a radical person on a pulpit somewhere screeching. This is a person that has actual power over you, okay? It is incompatible with the human rights of others that have been identified and defined by the EHCR and put into effect through the Gender Recognition Act, which is what I was saying earlier about how you can identify as a different gender through this particular act. I think you had to have had a sex change, but now you can just say, yeah, I know my name is Bane and I'm 6'8", 345 pounds of rock solid muscle, but guess what? Now I identify as Brenda, and what? And the article continues. And the former fan, who is trans, wrote, "I grew up as a trans child reading your books as an escape. I would often pick out names from characters to give to myself before I ever felt comfortable in who I was. This decision to support people that hate me and want to do me harm, it brings me to tears. Why? Why?" I think the bigger thing here is if you're gonna be in tears. This is the person right here that got fired. What is her name? Maya Forstater. That's the person that got fired. However, many others replied with thank you messages to the author, with one reply reading, "Thank you so much for speaking the truth on behalf of women. Hashtag adult human female." There it is. I mean, this is really simple. And there is J.K. Rowling right there. Like I said, not a conservative at all, but somebody that has a brain in their head and it understands that you can't just say you're a woman when you're biologically not so. As I close, I want to say this. The year 2019, this whole decade really, but definitely in the past, I say 3 to 4 years, have been very interesting. Liberal people attacking other liberal people over things that are basic common sense. All right. J.K. Rowling was 1000% correct. If you are a biological male, you cannot identify as female. And why would anybody be against that? Okay, we want to protect women. We want to stand up for women, but you want to allow men to invade women's spaces, sports, bathrooms, changing rooms, wherever they want to go. Gym, locker rooms, as adults and as kids, you're going to have issues there. Now, am I saying that every person that's a transgender or gay or whatever is going to attack people? No, I'm not saying that. But there are men that are going to take advantage of the situation and attack women. It's happened already. You got sex offenders out here. You got to understand that the world is not just as small as what some may think. It's not all about you as a transgender person or your transgender child, which is shouldn't be illegal, but we'll move on. It's about the whole world and how we all interact with each other. It's not right to have biological men invade women's spaces. It's not right to have biological men identify legally as women. If they want to play dress up, do whatever they want, augment their body to their heart's content, go for it. That's their business, not my concern. I'm not a fan of it, but that's what you want to do. But don't cross that line into saying, yeah, I'm a woman today when you're not. That's not right. And J.K. Rowling should be defended rather than attacked in this situation. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.